Did you know that Bungie sent me a scarf?
What?
I know, it's weird. It's like...
Why?
It has the logo on it. I don't know. I was like just going about my day and then this guy like knocks on my window and I'm like, what the fuck? And it's this, hey man, package. I'm like, all right. Open it up.
Cade?
And there's just a little scarf in there saying like, hey, thing out. I'm like, oh wow.
When's the last time you did anything for Destiny 2?
A long time ago.
Right now, baby. See, this is all sponsored by Bungie.
Sponsored by the scarf that Bungie sent me, okay?
Yeah, if you're a YouTuber, sometimes you only get a scarf.
That's right, the $4 scarf with the logo on it. That's what has made this episode possible. So well played, Bungie.
Thank you, scarf.
No, but seriously, Destiny, it's still a thing. It still exists. They're just about to release an update. Let's talk about what you can expect.
After the drop. So guys, we haven't actually talked about Destiny for a long time.
Because it's got its shit together.
It's got its shit together
That's
now,
right.
okay? And we are all about clickbait here, people. Okay, let's be real. We're going to show you how the sausage is made, okay?
That's right.
No, but look, it has been a while. It is in a much better state than it's ever been. Everyone, of course, knows that they stepped away from Activision several months ago, and since then they have been, building and building. Having said that, there has been a bit of a lull. A lot of people have been like, where the content at? Some monetization decisions that people weren't overly happy with. And it brings us today to what they have now announced.
Is that my line?
It's quite nice and tidy there, Ralph.
Nice, that was nice and tight. Well done, Sam.
Thank you.
So, Destiny, it does expansions every September pretty much. So we were expecting them to reveal their next big update. Probably weren't expecting them to reveal quite as much as they revealed today. First of all, Season of Arrivals is now live. So the seasonal updates are small events that last for a few months. They add a small amount of content to the game. Nothing huge, nothing game-changing, certainly not expansion level stuff, but they're the regular beats that keep the game going. Sam, what can we expect in Season of Arrival?
I was going to say, are we just going to see like a blue kind of film on it with heaps of wind and shit?
Is this an Anthem Cataclysm joke?
That was an Anthem joke.
Nice, okay. Really, you're bringing the hits here, Sam.
Alright guys, so there's going to be some public events on Titan and IO, okay? Now,
Sam knows exactly what they are.
I know exactly all those public events, baby. Don't worry. And there's going to be a new dungeon also, which I know exactly where that's going to be.
Of course.
Just like Ralph does.
We both know.
Of course.
We just don't want to tell you. So look, dungeons are actually a really big deal. They're kind of like mini raids. The Shattered Throne, a dungeon in the past, was really fantastic. Some of the best content in the entire game. So look, it's cool to see that they've dropped that. You've got to be high level to be able to access it, which means you're probably not going to be able to do it in the next day or two. But get your light level up and power level, and you'll be able to do it. No, it was light level. They changed the power level.
Did they?
They did.
Oh, well. I knew that.
Keep up, Sam. Keep up.
I knew that, guys. We are a Destiny channel.
That's right.
But apart from that, there's also some stuff in the future. It's going to be called Beyond Light. Okay, now we saw a light gameplay trailer, which was really just a cinematic dressed up in actual gameplay looking kind of characters running around slow motion wise. We also saw a cinematic trailer that literally showed nothing. It was this weird, like, it almost looked like The Revenant. It looked a bit like Revenant.
Hang on, let's just play a few seconds of the trailer here.
Now guys, while we continue showing over us talking, what is going on here? I mean, Ralph and I were just like...
This trailer was hard to follow.
It's hard to understand. It's jumping everywhere. I mean, I get it. Maybe they're trying to be like avant-garde and a bit cool and edgy and artistic. I'm on board with that. But at the end, I want to know exactly what you were trying to say. I don't know what you were trying to say.
Welcome to being a Destiny fan for the last, 8 years.
I feel like Kojima made that trailer or some shit, you know?
True. But look, it does send us to Europa. It's cold there. That's why they sent me the scarf.
Oh, very nice.
Very clever, Bungle.
Cool.
Very clever.
Again, it's,
and look, it has the Stranger. She's back. She's the lady from the first game who hands you the gun. And she's like, at the very end, she's the one that says, I don't have time to explain why I don't have time to explain.
No.
All right, anyway, she's a big deal.
I didn't play all the Destiny 1.
Oh, really?
No, not all of it.
That's literally about a third the way through it.
Didn't even play that. I finished Destiny 2 with you though. We have played a bit of Destiny 2 together.
That's true. So, Stranger's back. You can get the Stranger's Pulse Rival, no time to explain, if you pre-order, of course.
Of course.
And, that's it. So, look, that expansion, don't really know much more about it other than that. Oh, but you can get new classes based, not classes, but you can get new subclasses based on ice. So right now you had Solar, Void, and Arc.
Yep.
Now they're going to add Ice, go full Sub-Zero. I'm okay with that.
I think that's all cool, whatever. Great. But I think that the future is also looking pretty bright in terms of we've got two other things.
Brighter than light? Wait.
Oh, terrible.
Brighter than...
No.
Okay, all right.
We're going to leave that and we're going to continue. Okay,
right, okay.
It looks like the next 2 years they've already got plans for making big DLC drops. The next one is going to be The Witch Queen 2021 and Lightfall 2022, everybody. So it's good to know that there is a solid plan going ahead. That's a solid 2-year roadmap.
Kind of weird that they're announcing these major expansions like this early. They've never done this before.
Yeah.
They do their big update and in September, and then they drop it, and then cool, we don't hear anything about it until next year. When it's like, well, what's coming next September? The next expansion will be about Savathun, which I think is how you pronounce it. Oryx's sister, I believe, if I recall my Destiny lore correctly. Probably not. And then the next one, the Lightfall in 2022, we don't know what it's going to be about at all. We know the darkness is taking front and center stage at this point in time, which is something we've been waiting for like literally since Destiny launched. That's a bit of a backpedal from what a comment Luke Smith made a few years ago, where he's like, I feel like we kind of finalized the darkness story and we're ready to move on to other things. And everyone's like, what? No, you haven't. You haven't talked about the darkness at all. What the hell?
I want to see the Dark Knight Rises. Okay,
So,
and then
nice, Sam.
nice, very nice. But look, it is all very exciting. I do think that they've probably done that to give some confidence around the current community. To be like, guys, stick around. We have a lot coming. It's kind of good to know, especially if you're a YouTuber or a Twitch person or whatever, that you have a 2-year trajectory of knowing there is some solid content coming.
That's true.
Speaking of that, they've also actually now come out and said there is no plans for a sequel, which is actually kind of what I thought exactly was going to happen. I don't actually think there was going to be a sequel the moment they stepped away from Activision.
They didn't say they're never going to do a sequel, but they
No
did
plans
say
for
right now they've got no plans for a sequel, which
Yep.
is a different thing, right? So they could do a sequel in the future if Lightfall 2022 might be Destiny 3 for all we know, or they'll never do a Destiny 3 and they'll just keep updating the game like this.
Yep.
Don't know. But look, this is obviously a big departure from their initial plan. They had an agreement with Activision where they'd be pumping out sequels every 2.5 years or 3 years or whatever. So we should be on Destiny 3 well and truly by now.
Definitely, actually, yeah.
2022 would be like Destiny 4. So, this is a big change, but I think it's a good direction they've taken with this game. You don't need needless sequels.
I agree. I think that, it is a good marketing strategy, especially when you need to press the reset button. But Warcraft never needed to make a Warcraft 2. Maybe they need to now. I don't know how big that population is. They haven't told us since 2011.
If Shadowlands bombs, I reckon they'll need to make a new, a Warcraft 2. Because it'll just have lost too much brand cash at that point.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
I think you definitely need to explore those options when you need to. But I think Destiny is kind of on a run right now in terms of they had a reset button after Activision. It seems like the general consensus is that most people are very happy with Destiny. Of course, some hardcore people want it to change slightly, but it's in a kind of a good place. So if they can just ride that wave, there's no need to do a Destiny 3.
Sure. Oh, actually, one great piece of news is that it's coming to next gen, and it's going to have 4K 60 FPS gameplay. That's pretty damn good.
I mean, come
What
on,
can you say,
Assassin's
man?
Creed. Come on, man.
Yes.
What are you doing now? 30
They're
FPS?
like 30 FPS, baby.
Come on, man.
I mean, obviously, and look, and the idea that Assassin's Creed looks better. I mean, yeah, maybe.
Look, I get it.
Destiny looks pretty good, man. It's a good looking game.
And I'm sure it's going to look amazing too when they do bring that out. But it does show that hopefully more and more games are going to be in the 60 FPS realm, not
Correct.
in the 30 FPS realm.
The one piece of controversial news is what they're calling content cycling, where they take huge chunks of the game and they put it into what they're calling the Destiny Content Vault, the DCV, okay? So they're going to rotate out Mars and Titan and what else? The Leviathan Raid, a few other parts of the game, and they're just basically going to make them inaccessible. They're going to put them on ice, and they put them in this content vault. All of Destiny 1, by the way, is also in this content vault now. And then at any point in time, Bungie can bring back parts of that content into the live game for X amount of time, and they'll cycle in and out different content.
And they've done this because they said, as the world expands, it's becoming harder to manage bugs, and it's kind of stifling innovation within Destiny. And I get that, I can understand that, but it is also kind of disappointing to see that because, I know we're only mentioning one or two other MMOs here, but Final Fantasy XIV or Warcraft never needed to put shit away, I can still walk into, what's it called, Ragfire Chasm or something?
Ragfire Chasm.
Yeah, like when you know, the first raid ever, or the first
raid.
instance in World of Warcraft in Orgrimmar is still there.
Sure.
It's kind of good to know that it's always there to kind of revisit those things.
Yeah, I agree.
Having said that, I do understand that if the game is getting so gigantic and it is a indie kind of developer, it needs to manage the workload it actually has on its.
I guess it's the way that they've constructed it. So, for example, in WoW, they can add new classes, and I don't know if they literally go back and update every piece of content to make that compatible with new class abilities and whatever else, or if they've built their kind of like code base where you can just plug a new class in and it all works somehow. I don't know, but regardless, yeah, you're right. A lot of games don't go back and delete their old content when they add new stuff. Bungie needs to do that, apparently. It's weird that they say that. They're the only developer I've seen say this or do this in this way. If they think it's best for their game, fair enough. Look, it's not the end of the world if you can't go back and do some random obscure dungeon. It's nice to be able to go back and do old content, but it's not a deal breaker. 98% of the time when you're playing a game, you're playing the newest available content. It's nice to be able to play that other 2% of the time, the old stuff. So I get it, but at the same time, it's a little bit weird, and if they didn't do it, it probably would be better.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, look, I mean, if there is some sort of strategy to continuously, re-engage that content, then I'm sure people will be happy. But if it goes into the Destiny 2 vault and then we never see it again, and so that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But if it's coming out every 12 to 18 months, like, sure, then there's a place for that, and maybe that will press the reset button in that particular area for people to want to go and explore that again. So maybe that's actually a good way of looking at it.
The Vault of Glass is coming back, and that means we get Fatebringer and we get the Vex Mythoclast. And pretty much every great weapon in Destiny's history has come from that raid. Anyway, we'll see.
I'm looking forward to that raid.
Not the Gjallarhorn. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. That's the Destiny news. We will definitely be checking out at September when it hits. It's September something? 12th, something like that? Something like that. There's a date here.
Check it out. You come in for the news. We report. We have no idea.
Dates, man.
We don't know. Goodbye.
There's no date. Okay, bye.